I think every single one of you will be very surprised with what I'm about to show you. We all know Ripple versus the SEC has been quite cumbersome, but I think every single one of you is also aware that there are many conflicts of interest at the SEC, and we do not trust the SEC to act in good faith. We do not think they're a proper authority. We do not think that they really try to protect consumers. And I've told you guys before, I've had some discussions with people at the SEC. Yes, guys, ex-SEC members often go on to different interviews or different podcasts, different spaces. And I was wearing red just now to kind of commemorate the idea that the market was down a little bit. But honestly, never mind. This is not ironed, but it's a little bit better than the red. Anyway, guys, let's actually stop this fizzling. Make sure you go ahead and press that like button right now if you're excited. And all I was trying to say was that a lot of the ex-SEC members are often these people of like conviction you wouldn't even know. They're so adamant about pushing their points through, which are like ridiculous to everybody. But one of these guys, all of a sudden, has gone on a little bit of a tirade. And even though he's against crypto, listen to my words, this guy I've had discussions with every single time he tries to smack me down. He's against crypto. He's against you, all right? Ex-SEC member. But right now, and that's one of the most peculiar pieces, he is actually selling his own people out. Yes, guys, let's, oh, wow. All right, there's a literal witch hunt right now at the SEC where people are ratting out their own people. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine it? So what's been happening was a crypto critic, ex-SEC official John Reed Stark, whom you guys hopefully all know by now. He's very popular in the crypto landscape. He says there should be an investigation into William Hinman. He's the guy that held a very famous crypto speech back in 2018, and this is broader than Ripple. There could potentially be serious conflicts of interest by a government official. An investigation will either put it to rest or hold folks accountable. To expand, SEC official Bill Hinman was corrupt. Yes, I have read that Bill Hinman might have acted unethically or even unlawfully, at least according to some reports. The FBI should investigate the so-called Hinman emails, and if the evidence shows unlawful conduct, the Department of Justice should prosecute. But Hinman's conduct is a weak deflection, a total red herring, and has little to do with the applicability of securities laws. And John Dean has a little elaboration on the matter, but hopefully by now you guys know all about William Hinman. We've described it on the channel for years by now, and I think I know more about this man than he knows about himself, which is kind of odd. But let us just quickly see what John Dean says, as this is partially about the SEC Ethics Office. This is partially about the connections William Hinman had with these law firms and with his previous and I guess future employer. This is partially about him ignoring SEC advice, and this is partially about him potentially, all right, having discussions with the Ethereum guys that he shouldn't have had, which kind of blends all of those together. For 1 year, I called out the Hinman conflicts, and although I said there was a gross appearance of impropriety, which technically violates 18 USC 208, I never accused him of a crime during that first 18 months. I wrote about the Ethereum free pass and went on Patrick Bet-David's podcast as well as Fox Business with Liz Clement, Charles Gasparino, Eleanor, and CV Payne, while the XRP community and sleuths like DAI, Digital Perspectives, and a couple of the other guys, and many others, I apologize for leaving you out, helped get the message out so much that it inspired on independent, non-for-profit, not in crypto DC government ethics or lack thereof watchdog named Empower Us to sue the SEC for not complying with FOIA regarding Hinman's blatant conflicts. The Empower US litigation uncovered the fact that Hinman did violate this clause. All our efforts combined caused a crypto innovation-friendly Congressman, Warren Davidson, to ask the SEC whether Hinman's speech was vetted and approved by the SEC ethics. Gubrir Grewal, knowing that it had not, misled Congress and answered that he could not answer the question because the speech was subject to litigation. Whether the speech was screened by SEC ethics was never litigated. Only whether the speech, emails, documents, and draft versions should be produced. Trust me when I started calling Hinman out and talking about the Ethereum free pass, I didn't make me many friends within the industry. Chris Dixon from A16Z blocked me for simply tweeting out a factual chronological timeline where all I did was provide a date along with direct quotes. When I created my Crypto Law US's video library with the help of XRP sleuths, some of the big names started calling me a conspiracy theorist. Yet to this day, that timeline of facts and video library have never been challenged because, hey, it's 100% factual. People ask me why I've always been respectful when dealing with John Reed Stark, even though we vehemently disagree about crypto, the Therese decision, etc. John Reed Stark from early on commented that he didn't blame me for speaking truth to power and that he believed Hinman deserved to be investigated. I'm glad it's now in writing. Crypto Law US ran videos asking for an investigation on our Connect to Congress app, sent over 60,000 messages to Congress calling for an investigation. Empower US sent a referral to the IG asking for an investigation. And finally, I sent a letter to every member of the Senate Banking Committee, damn, and to every representative of the Financial Services Committee, damn, asking for them to send a letter of inquiry regarding the Empower US referral to the IG. I even provided a sample letter. To my knowledge, no one has. My God, how difficult is it to get an investigation when even senior former SEC leaders are calling for it? If crypto is going to move forward the way it should, it's not just the Sam Bankman-Fried and Mashinsky's we need to hold accountable. The cleanup includes the unelected bureaucrats who sold out. I went from not being comfortable saying Hinman violated the financial conflict laws 2 years ago to today saying a blind monkey could get a conviction. That doesn't imply that he goes to jail or anything like that, but people should be held accountable. Like John Reed Stark says, investigate the Yeah, it's time to investigate, to keep it on clean words, all right? I mean, every single body that has at least taken about 25 minutes to look into this guy, all right? The guy that wrote the speech that got Ethereum a free pass, basically. If anybody took 25 minutes to look into exactly what was written there and how everything went with regards to Ripple then also in that case, I think they'd hold him at least accountable for some questioning, meaning he has to explain some stuff. And when he cannot explain, well, then they kind of see from there, because I don't think he's going to be able to answer a lot of the most simple questions, as it's just all too odd. What I'm referring to, why were you working for a firm and then when you headed over to the SEC, still acting in the best interest of that firm, but when the SEC ethics office tells you not to be in contact with the firm, you still go ahead and do, knowing you're going to get a large sum of money from them, and it could potentially be a conflict of interest, yet you still go for it. I personally think, and this is just my personal speculation, but I don't think this guy thought anybody was ever going to look over his entire history and everything, and now that people are, he's panicking, but there's nothing for him to do anymore. It's just over and done with. All he can do is accept his faith, pray every single morning he wakes up that these guys at the SEC and wherever, even higher ups, are just ignoring it because they've been for all these years. The speech was in 2018. All these investigations have happened throughout the last couple of years. And now an ex-SEC official is saying, investigate the guy. All right? Ex-SEC member as well. Investigate the guy. If they still decide to ignore it, I'm telling you right now with my full-on heart that these guys cannot for a single cent be trusted. Right now, I still have pretty high regard that at the end of the day, even though it might take a decade, things will become quite correct. They're just wrong people in all these different places. So the SEC just has corrupt people, and the way it's going right now is not perfect, but it's still a general line, meaning probably if we're looking outside of crypto, the SEC does some okay things. And I agree with Elon Musk saying I don't really respect them, but I do respect the idea that they don't really have that much authority. All they do is bring cases and then the judge decides. So it's the justice system. Anyway, the point there being, if it turns out that we all the people, tens of thousands of people say, hey, this man was corrupt, there's something wrong. An ex-SEC member says, hey, investigate him, and yet they still decide to ignore that, then, ladies and gentlemen, I have no more faith that anything is ever going to come out of these guys. Right now, I still have an inch. And I know I shouldn't have. I know I should not have faith in this entity. that blatantly went after Ripple when they had no authority, and right now is bringing up all these bogus cases, bogus claims, and it's just doing stupid stuff. But I still have 1%, maybe 0.5% faith that eventually the bad guys will get caught. And if they decide to ignore it and they say, William Hinman, we're keeping our hands off. You do you, baboon, and you go make that money. And even though we all know it's wrong, we don't care. If that's the case, yeah, then it's pretty much confirmed. And from that point on forward, I'm not going to let it go anymore. I'm not sure what we can do. I mean, we have literally alerted every single authority, and everybody's deciding to like, not my job, not my job. But right now, an ex-SEC member said it, so I don't think they can get around it anymore. And if they do, it's all one big corrupt piece of garbage, and that's about it. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this little update. I think it's pretty crazy that these guys are actually ratting themselves out. Are they afraid of something happening to them? I don't know, but I'm enjoying to see it. I mean, guys, at the SEC, a lot of things are so faulty, a lot of things are so strange, but it's going to take some time before the house of cards breaks. Hopefully, this is the start that we all wanted.